So, who do you think would be the next best president then? I mean,
I
this
think I
kind of
think
ties into
Vivek would
all
be.
what you think Vivek would be.
I think
Other
he
than
would
Trump, you
be.
mean, Gentry, or just total?
I'm just saying the debates were last night, and
Oh yeah, let's talk
so I
about
just
that.
wanted to bring the topic up.
Can you give us a little bit of a
Did you guys watch the
synopsis of what?
debates?
No,
I did
I
not.
didn't watch them. No.
Let me give you the overview. So Trump
Yeah.
went to Michigan to talk to the union over there, which I believe was the same union that Biden went to go picket with, which I thought was really funny because he went to go picket with them and like join the fight, but he could also fix it all, right, if he really wanted to.
Now they want to go all electric and put you all out of business. You know that, right? Yesterday, Joe Biden came to Michigan to pose for photos at the picket line. But it's his policies that send Michigan auto workers to the unemployment line. He only came after I announced that I would be here. You know, he announced quite a bit later. Spoke for a few seconds. Did you notice he spoke for what, a few seconds? And he had absolutely no idea what he was saying. He didn't know where he was. He didn't know where he was. He didn't know what we were saying. Where am I? He's saying, where am I? Oh, you're in Michigan. Oh, that's great. What do they do in Michigan? They grow wheat in Michigan, he said. Don't they grow wheat? No, that's Iowa and other places.
So that was a strange move by Biden. Trump went over there, and to be honest, he did clarify a lot of his points on the trans issue. He did a really good job of talking about oil and gas cars, which I thought was really cool.
Biden's cruel and ridiculous electrical. Think of this. He wants electric vehicle mandates that will spell the death of the U.S. auto industry. You know, it doesn't matter. I watch it. You're negotiating a contract. You're all on picket lines and everything. But it doesn't make a damn bit of difference what you get, because in 2 years, you're all going to be out of business. You're not getting anything. What they're doing to the auto industry in Michigan and throughout the country is absolutely horrible and ridiculous. Hundreds of thousands of American jobs, your jobs, will be gone forever because crooked Joe Biden is selling out. But I don't think it's him. I don't think he actually knows what the hell he's doing.
I think it was a shame that he wasn't at this second debate, because I think that it would have been a little bit more civil. I watched about an hour of it and then I had to turn it off because people were just talking over each other instead of trying to make a really good point of why they should be president. They were trying to make points about how everyone else was bad.
Vivek, if you let Putin have Ukraine, that's a green light to China to take Taiwan.
Driving Russia
for Russia is a win for China.
Excuse me, if you have
but
a chance,
I forgot you like China. Where
I voted no on all. I voted on most of those things.
We've waited and nothing has happened.
There was a really interesting exchange between Nikki Haley and Vivek Ramaswamy. They were talking about TikTok and how it was just like a really addictive social media platform, and it's basically spyware and all this kind of stuff.
Every time I hear you, I feel a little bit dumber for what you say, because I can't believe that here you've got a TikTok situation. What they're doing is these 150 million people are on TikTok. That means they can get your contacts, they can get your financial information, they can get your emails.
Vivek changed his view on it because he met with Jake Paul, the influencer, and actually got on TikTok, and it's his most viewed social media platform. Here's the thing. I do agree with Vivek that we have to win elections, right? And so what he's doing with all these influencers, because he met with Jake Paul, he did the Full Send podcast. He's done a lot of these like millennial Gen Z podcasts, which I think is fantastic because he's trying to reach the younger generation. And we have to win elections in order to take care of some of this stuff. I mean, with one stroke of the pen, he could do an executive order that says like any spyware in the US that's from, a foreign country that's considered an enemy, you can just get rid of it.
So the answer is I have a radical idea for the Republican Party. We need to win elections. And part of how we win elections is reaching the next generation of young Americans where they are. So when I get into office, I've been very clear. Kids under the age of 16 should not be using addictive social media. We're only going to ever get to declaring independence from China, which I favor, if we actually win. So while the Democrats are running rampant, reaching the next generation 3-1, there's exactly one person in the Republican Party which talks a big game about reaching young people, and that's me. And let me level with all of you. I'm the new guy here, and so I know I have to earn your trust.
I don't think that it would necessarily be a great idea to get rid of TikTok, just because it's like ingrained in American culture right now, right?
But maybe, like you
was
said, make an executive order where the spyware aspect of it has to be removed, so they have to actually change it.
Well, that
Right.
the thing with that is,
But he
and-
has to win. Someone has
Right,
to
exactly.
win
Yeah,
in order
he has to play the
do
game.
that.
He has to play the game.
He has to play the game, and
And
I
he's
thought
also
that-
going to be a president for all. Like, one thing that the left has lost is that if you get
Mhm.
elected president, you're president for all Americans, not for
not anymore.
your
You're not
party.
apparently.
Well, in Canada, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
They're literally,
Yeah.
they see the other side as deplorable, as, you know,
Yeah.
these people that are backwards thinking. And it's like, what kind of arrogance and just pomposity you have to just think that everybody else but you, everybody else that doesn't think like you, is stupid.
Back to the debates, DeSantis did a pretty decent job of not doing anything, which actually worked out really well in his favor. A lot of folks were saying, so I was listening to Ben Shapiro this morning. He was saying that Nikki Haley did a really good job.
Ugh,
I don't think she did. I thought she was
either
shrill.
way, she's
I not a fan of her, to be honest.
she's a warmonger. I don't know what the hell she's doing up there. She's no
Well,
chance
there
in
was a
hell.
guy named Doug Bergman, who I've never heard of before, and don't even know why he was there. It seemed like he didn't even know why he was there.
Right.
Like, I've never heard of this guy. Like, apparently he's got the 40,000 donors to get on the stage, but like, why? Like, it just seems like they're wasting space and
Yeah, he's
time.
the
with
North
people who are
Dakota
polling
governor.
so low, by the way.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
they put the candidates like DeSantis, Vivek, Haley, Christie, Berg, like they put them all in order, and they're like, oh yeah, she's pulling third, but it's like, what does that actually mean? It's like 0.5%,
Yeah.
like 2% of like polling. Like, obviously polling isn't necessarily like the most accurate, because I've never been polled. Have you guys been polled?
No, but
Being
that's
polled.
because
No,
we don't.
no.
That's because we have cell phones, and
Yeah,
unless they
that's true.
change their methodology, they still do landlines.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's changed.
Oh, it's all landlines. No, I've never been pulled on anything.
It used to be like that for a long time, and again, it may have
Uh.
changed. But then you figure who's getting pulled? People who have nothing else to do other than answer polls.
I feel like engagement on social media is probably the best gauge for who's doing the best. And in my opinion, Trump won the debates last night, even though he wasn't even there.
But that's why he's not going. That's why he's not going.
Right.
It would just be an attack on him, you know?
Yeah.
Like, if it
Chris-
was 3 people, then maybe it makes sense for him to go. Like, if it was DeSantis, Vivek, and Trump, it makes sense to have a debate. This is a clown show. Chris Christie.
Well,
what's this
I
guy doing?
agree from an optic standpoint, to be in the same arena as people who have 0.5%, then it just doesn't make sense. Now, if they're, like you said, if there were 3 people, you have a lot more time to talk. But imagine Trump's up there. What, he's going to get like a fraction of the time, so he's just waiting around getting attacked, not able to respond to all this
Makes no
stuff.
sense for him to go.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't go either.
It was really disappointing. Gavin Newsom had a tweet. He said, "What a shit show," right? And probably one of the only times that I've agreed with Gavin Newsom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what they're doing. Like, what does the RNC think? Like, what are they doing? This is ridiculous.
It might
I
be
mean-
the worst turnout for candidates. I mean, DeSantis isn't running the campaign we thought he would. Vivek has a whole bunch of question marks, and the rest are like Pence. Why is he even there?
Pence is a joke. The whole Republican
Yeah.
base hates Pence.
Mhm.
Tim Scott, I like Tim Scott, but he has no chance in hell of being president. clearly, I mean, Nikki Haley, nobody likes Nikki Haley. I don't know. They live in these bubbles where they think that they're actually popular. Literally, the only two people that have a chance is Vivek and DeSantis. Chris Christie, what are you doing up there, bro? Like, nobody even liked him as governor of New Jersey. He was governor of New Jersey, right?
He called Donald Trump Donald Duck. That was his one line. That was his zinger. Like, who's writing this? Yeah, Chris Christie. He must have hired someone from the Hollywood writer's strike, because that was a terrible line.
Yeah, it's just people are so out of touch. Like, you listen to Mike Pence and it's like, oh my gosh, what is he even talking about? Like, the guy clearly, and it's not just him. It's none of these people live in the real world. They're surrounded by yes men. They live in a bubble. So of course they don't understand what we're going through, right? They know what's happening, or they think they know because their staffers tell them. So the staffers say, hey, you know what, like, kids aren't doing well, or they're doing great, or our polling shows that supporting this is going to be good. So you should go out and say that. So it's like, like, at what point are they barely human, and compared to just someone who just says whatever they think is going to get him elected again, right? Like, I get it. Chris Christie's whole shtick is that he was going to attack Trump, but then to what? Does he think that by just attacking Trump he's going to win the base, like Trump's voters? No. Like, so what exactly? So what is he doing? Like, and why is he doing it?
He can't think he's going to win. Like,
no, absolutely not.
Embarrassing.
So that's what I don't understand. What's his point of running, of just attacking Trump?
Yeah, the base is all Trump supporters, right? That's why Vivek is doing such a good job, because he's basically a mini me. It seems like they almost don't want to win at this point, because they're so out of touch.
Yeah.
On the Ukraine thing too, like they're literally saying the opposite of what most. I don't know what world they're living in. They're not aligned with any of the Republican base. Right, they're living in the neocon world, and they must have their dinner parties and and so those people think the way they think, but you're not in touch with what real people think. It's honestly, it's actually the kind of idiosyncrasy. I don't know if that's
idiosyncratic.
But the fact, the idiosyncrasy of what's going on is so telling, that of this, like, separation of them being in like a political elite class and living in a bubble, and not being in touch with social media, like, because social media ultimately, like you're saying, I think is the best polling. You're right. The things that trend on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram.
How in touch do you like? I mean, and I'm not asking you specifically, but I'm just like, as a general question, like, how in touch does anyone, even a supporter of Biden, believe that he is with reality, with what's happening? I mean, I think about, and when people talk crap on whatever president it is, like Biden, Trump, Obama, I have some sympathy for them, because just imagine the amount of stuff that you have to do on any given day as a president. You don't know where you're going, who you're talking to, what talking points you have. Like, you might be in a meeting about like nuclear waste, and then 10 minutes later you're talking about, like, I don't know, economic relief for Sri Lanka, and you're supposed to know all these things. They don't know what the hell's going on. They get these little notes and stuff like that, and you're going different time zones. So I do give them the benefit of the doubt and saying, yeah, it's a really hard job. And that's why I think Biden is way too old to do anything of that sort, other than just kind of hang out at the beach. But
he's not doing anything. He's not doing anything.
Yeah,
like, he's clear. Like, he doesn't have. It would be tough for Vivek, who is like, I think Vivek is, in some sense, a bit of a savant, but he's a very high functioning individual. Even for somebody like that, it would be hard to actually do the job properly. And that's why I understand why Trump, did not necessarily, like, why certain things went in certain directions, like increasing the debt so much and not doing certain things that the base would have liked him to do, because there's a million things you have to deal with.
Well, not only that, but you have
expert in everything.
But you also have tons of people in your government trying to sabotage your administration.
Exactly.
So you have to deal with that as well.
In Washington. Yeah.